So
That's fair. I know Diane isn't coming and she's got a training tonight. And then Terry had to resign because he moved out of town, hopefully temporarily. So I haven't heard anything from Joe, so we'll just get started. Be respectful of everyone's time. My tongue is frozen. All right. I'll call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. And I guess the first order of business is we need somebody to volunteer to take minutes for tonight. Any takers? I forgot the Jeopardy music.
I'll go ahead and take them until we can find hopefully a permanent secretary.
Okay. So Jennifer, instead of doing a roll call, since there's only the four of us, I assume you already figured out which four of us are here. And we'll go on to the approval of, and thank you for taking notes. And we'll start with the approval of the minute from the November 9th Ag Committee meeting. They are linked in the packet. If anyone hasn't had a chance to review them yet, you can take a couple minutes. And then when we are ready, I will entertain a motion to approve the November 9th minutes.
Is it helpful for me to share my screen with all of this, or would you rather to see everyone? It's up to you.
I'm good either way. I guess if
I like sharing the screen because then I feel like I'm doing the same thing other people are doing and I'm doing the right thing as opposed to what I sort of am doing elsewhere.
To the employer because of the health.
all right, so then we'll let Jennifer keep sharing. Soon as we're ready, we'll just take the motion to approve. Anyone want to make a motion?
I move to accept the meeting minutes as presented.
Hey, thank you, Lori. Is there a second?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second.
Steve,
All
thank
right,
you.
we got Melissa this time. Chris, you get the next one. Chris, since you tried to second it too, and you're the only other person that can vote,
I'll vote for it.
Thank you. So the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the opportunity for public comment. I think we have no public.
Yeah, we don't have any public, and I have not heard anyone who wanted to submit.
May I ask a question relative to that? Jennifer, do you have any idea, or is it done that we know when people look at the recordings? And do we know if people are?
You mean, do we know if someone looked at the recording or not, and can we track that?
Yeah.
Maybe our IT can. I'm sure our IT can like track the traffic, but I don't. That would be something they would do.
Okay, I'm curious because a couple of people have talked to me relative to the agbotics stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just intrigued that they weren't at the meeting, but they obviously went back and watched it.
Did
so
they?
I thought that was interesting.
Were they referring to the Planning and Zoning Commission or the Agriculture Committee?
Well, we were on a joint meeting at one point, so it may have been that as well. But it seemed as if that's a good question. So I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, we do get a lot of people who watch planning and zoning, especially when there's a controversial hearing, as well as town council. And actually, a couple people were interested in the new farm that I think it's Golden Goats LLC.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
yeah.
Alex Eatland came to your meeting, and so
Yeah.
they were curious and wanted to know what kind of farming he was doing, and so we directed him to the meeting where he presented. So it was really helpful, actually.
Excellent. Oh, that is cool. But then you don't know whether or not people, yeah, again, members of the public, have looked at that. Or unless Jamie has some record of it in a way
I'm
you
sure
don't
Jamie,
know yet.
I'm sure they're tracking the traffic because, the whole idea, we switched platforms from town hall streams to YouTube. So I'm sure, they're looking at their analytics and doing stuff like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
YouTube analytics are really good too. It can tell you what percent of the video people watched, whether they were watching on a phone or a PC, kind of, where they were watching it from. So maybe Coventry's spying on what our ag committee is doing, and you can see that they're all from Coventry and stuff.
We should be inserting advertisements for, to make some revenue with some vegetables and things.
Yeah. Oh, what can, yeah, I don't know. I'll let you guys do that. I think that would be unethical for me to do that, but.
It's unethical for us to do at UConn, but yeah, I'm sure somebody could tell us, at least, even if people have private browsing on, they should be able to pick up some semblance of how many people are watching these. Maybe, Chris, would you like it if Jennifer looked into that for us?
Chris, if you send me an email, I'll just respond, and I'll loop Jamie in.
Just send you an email asking about numbers or
Yeah,
whether or
like
not it's done.
How we work that out, how,
Okay.
how we determine who's watching it. I don't think we can.
Yeah, I doubt you can do who, but I mean, I'm just curious about numbers and if they click up. At various times I've listened to town council meetings,
Yeah.
but it used to be a real pain. You had to go to the town clerk's office and get the tape and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so no other public comment. We will move on with old business. We have communication initiatives. And you know what, Jennifer, I forgot to have you added in, but we could also talk a little bit about the farmer forum, which given.
Did I not put that under, oh, I did. It's under new business.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the wrong agenda. I'll just look at yours. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. I'm tired. All right, so communication initiatives. I sent an article to Mansfield Connections. I didn't make the December deadline for the February issue. The one I sent this week for the March issue was on the benefits of plants and kind of pushing. I linked to the Mansfield, to our website, so they could get the Mansfield Grown brochure at the end. Just talking about how we have greenhouses and such in the town and surrounding towns and how plants are beneficial. And then I have another one queued up and scheduled to send in February for the April issue. And that one, yeah. Oh, the whole thing about in season and seasonal foods and that kind of stuff. So haven't heard back from them. We'll keep trying. And we had Lori, one of your students, in the newsletter for, actually, Lori, there you are. You want to just talk about your student that did the newsletter?
Sure. Quinn Hope, for the tree, this is for the trees, wrote a little blurb about the different tree farms that were in town. And yeah, so he was really excited about writing it, and is looking into going into some sort of communications for potentially, this is a junior that I have. So I know that if we had other articles, I think this student would be interested in, sharing and writing. I can't speak for, obviously for him, but I think that he, is really likes to put pen to paper. So it'd be nice to see some other things come from students like that. And they could, use it for their SAE as well, which is good, just to get that sort of out, to start to write in their SAE journal that they could do journalism in and around agriculture, that it's actually a thing. So
We
For
could
one
Good.
thing,
absolutely highlight, the town newsletter is, it comes out every other month. And so
Okay.
if he wants to highlight something and send it to me, the next deadline will be like next week, or at the end of next week, or even early the week after. And I'm happy to highlight something. It could be, highlighting a specific farm business. It could be highlighting something that E.O. Smith is doing with the agriculture program. I mean, I think it would be nice to tie it into a farm business, I think. And maybe this committee could give him guidance on, something to look into for, do you think he'd have time for the February newsletter?
And it would have to be done within a week.
It'd have to be done, let's see, we're at the 11th now, so it would be.
And a tiny, how many words are you looking for? Like small?
150 at the most.
Okay, so small. Yeah, not a lot. Okay. I have the student today. I won't have them until Thursday, but I could ask on Thursday.
Okay, so
It'd be
Thursday.
a really fast turnaround.
Yeah, if
that-
I got something by the 24th, it would be a week.
Okay. Okay. I will,
Wait a
yeah, let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do to pull that off. I have, that's not a lot of words to have to write. So let's see what we can,
Maybe something about maple syrup. What does everyone think about that?
oh yeah, the tapping of the trees right now. That might be a nice, I don't know, is there anybody local that taps and sells their own as a business?
Yeah, so
I don't mean to be naive, but not being here that long.
yeah, so George Bailey used to do that on Crane Hill Road, and I believe that the Varga family farm took over his tapping. And
Okay.
they are in the agriculture brochure.
Have a lot of trauma
The other-
from their.
Yeah, they did last year. Or I think it
upbringing.
was Chris Varga. I'm not
Yeah, we
sure.
talked a little bit about it.
Yeah. The other thing is that Jeff Martin was talking about, celebrating local food, seasonally grown food, and they have an initiative called Rooting for Winter. So it's kind of
Oh.
like getting people out and celebrate, looking at eating their root vegetables for winter. So, it could be a recipe. It could be, they really could be creative, but it would be nice to, I guess from the agriculture committee, it would be nice to highlight a business, or you farmers, what do farmers do in the winter? People think maybe you're not working, but I think everyone knows that farmers are doing a lot of work in the winter. Sort of could be a day in the life of it could be anything really,
Okay, let me see what I can come up with.
the
Okay.
other,
Conversation with the student.
the other topic is seed catalogs are starting to come out. And I know Susan Mitchell's done Facebook posts on her farm page in the past, partly because she worked for a seed company in the off season too, but about picking your seeds and, planting your garden now. And so that could be tie into what farmers do. And at least for the vegetable farmers, some of the other farms too, figuring out our seed orders and everything.
Okay, I will, I'll give some suggested topics, and maybe on Thursday I could have the student write it. Because we have a large block of time on Thursday together. So we have a block schedule now, so might have some time in there. We can take some time and I review it and stuff.
And also, if you want to put him in touch with me, I'm happy to talk with him, because maybe the way, if he is interested in journalism and communication, we really kind of need a plan, right? We need a whole,
Right.
and it would be great to, he could start something for this particular newsletter, and then brainstorm some topics about where else to go with this,
Okay.
so it would be February, and then we're hitting April, and then June. So
Right, if they were planned ahead of time, it would give the student a good SAE and so, something that they could, even if it was like in a supplemental, and they could plan ahead, so we're ready to go.
yeah, exactly.
Instead of having like last minute, like I'm pulling it together the last second,
Right. Yep.
it's something that we could be working on, especially when we have some like downtime, so to speak. Sometimes we take brain breaks and stuff, and they're just, kind of hanging out together, and we just chat and talk about different things while we're relaxing. And it'd be good to have where they could, brainstorm together as a class.
Lori, I think the word is recharging, not relaxing, but
Recharging,
case,
that's a better.
I would be happy to host some kids or you or a field trip or whatever on some forest land where we've done some what are called patch cuts, which are done for habitat and also the forest health diversity. So definitely contact me if you want to do an outing.
That'd be nice.
I would love to do that.
Today would have been a great, nice, warm day for that.
Yeah, perfect.
Miss your window.
Yeah.
Chris, would you be willing to do that for a larger group too? Say
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
if the
Yeah,
Field Ag Committee wanted to host something?
sure. Yeah.
Because
in
people love
fact-
trees, and we
Looking-
could educate people besides farmers.
I'm actually
No,
looking for a couple. I had sent an email out earlier, maybe like a month or 6 weeks ago, for a Parks and Rec program. So I'm looking for folks to, who are interested in things to lead something. So I don't know if that would be something you'd want to do.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd be happy to do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start an email. The content is actually due tomorrow. So I just need like a rough.
So write up something good, Jen. Just write up something good and we're all set.
Okay, but I'll email me a good date. It'd have to be like between March and spring, March through May. Email me.
Is it weekends or is it weekdays?
Well, I think it's probably better for a weekend. Like it's like
Yeah,
almost it would be like a
okay.
hike.
Yeah. No, I'm
How about Earth
Pretty.
Weekend, April 23rd, Saturday, April 23rd or the 24th.
March, April 23rd. That's wide open. The 24th. The 24th is Orthodox Easter, just for the record. The 23rd is fine.
Okay, so we're going to celebrate Earth Weekend with a tour at the Kiefner. I don't know. Let's do this offline.
You have to do what? Offline. Yeah, that'd be a better idea.
Okay. Good. I needed one more program, so done.
Okay. Yeah, and I would show them again patch cuts that are now about 4 years old, and I'd have to look and see the exact date. And then basically another thing that's going on in terms, other forestry practices that maybe even will be going on at that point on the adjacent property.
Great. Okay, so we will. Are you around tomorrow? Can I call you?
Yes, better in the afternoon,
Okay.
after like 1 o'clock.
Okay, I'll try calling you tomorrow. I'm just gonna put like a placeholder, and then we'll.
Good. Okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So Lori, the other option for your student to think about is the neighbors paper, which I don't know if you've picked up that one in the different local businesses, but those could be a little bit longer, and we could submit, Quinn, he could submit it to Tom King. So if he's, depending on what he's looking for hours, but that is another venue. And then we might be able to connect your student to the Chronicle or something. I agree with Jennifer that we should connect it all back to, if he wants to think about a broader plan and some of that seasonality for it, that would be fantastic. In if depending on what his interest is and time needed for the SAE, or if you have other students too that you want to get involved.
Yeah, I have a couple that I'm thinking of. It might be nice to rotate, I have a few students that I'm thinking of that might think it neat to be able to write something that gets published. So let me do some, now that I'm getting to know them a little better, that I have everybody in class, so and not totally remote. So let me do some put some feelers out there and see what we can come up with, and we'll take it from there. Sounds like a plan.
Great, excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jennifer, I don't go on Facebook, my personal Facebook often enough. Have any of the posts gone up that we wrote? Is there any
Yeah,
option to
I
get
have-
things?
Let me check. You know what? I have a feeling, I'll check with Margaret about that. That's terrible.
Okay, and if she can't use what we did, let's find out if she wants something different, and if she can use it and wants more, I guess same thing, because maybe the students might have some ideas for that too, since, well, maybe they're not on Facebook, but they probably are very social media savvy as well.
Yeah.
And if not, committee members could probably do some more of those as well. Anybody have other topics, ideas for communication initiatives that they want to discuss? Need my Jeopardy music again. All right, membership. I haven't, well, oh yeah, I said it. I don't think, well, Joe wasn't here, but so Terry has resigned, hopefully temporarily, but while they're not living in Mansfield, he's resigned from the committee. And then we still had an extra alternate opening before that, correct?
So, yeah, Nancy moved.
Nancy moved.
And then Terry moved, and then Ed Hall is unable to do virtual meetings. And I did touch base with him. So we are in need of some new members. So 2 or 3 we would be able to fill spots. And Lori, it would be great to get a student member.
Okay, what I could put out I could have a little flyer go out to my kids as well as the other 3 teachers and see if we can get a student, or maybe one of the officers. I can't talk for anybody, obviously. So what I can do is put together a flyer and try to get one, or try to get a student to want to become, part of that, the program. I don't know how many Mansfield we have, so they would have to be a Mansfield resident, correct?
Yes,
Right.
I believe so.
So I'll put a flyer together for the students, and I will send it out to all of them.
And Jennifer, what about the guy who, the goat farm guy?
He's not living in Mansfield right now.
That's interesting because, I understand that. But I'm thinking,
I'm gonna email Sarah Ann right now to see if I can actually get a non-resident.
yeah, because in
Landon
this case,
Mansfield.
non-resident landowners are able to vote in certain of the, voting opportunities in town. This may be
Well, I'll
something
find
in
out.
a way in which he could represent himself and his interest in the town.
All right. If anyone has interested members, just send them my way and I'll direct them to the application online and then they can go through the process.
New business, anything else on membership?
Yeah, question for clarification. So did I understand correctly that the alternates, Lori and I, are becoming regular members and we're looking for new alternates, or what's the situation there?
I will have to look at the roster, but if we do get a new member, if both of you would like to become regular members, that's how we usually do it. We usually ask you though beforehand.
She's saying it nicely. Basically, Joe, you're a life member now.
We hope.
As long as I'm not a life alternate member, that's tough to, that's a tough pill to swallow.
I will, the next time they meet, I will have, Lori, would you like to serve as a regular member?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I'll have you guys moved up in the ranks. It's pretty informal. It doesn't really make a big difference, but I know what you mean. We will definitely have you.
There are special rituals, but we
I was-
can't talk about them
I was
during the
gonna
meeting.
say, there's not a knighting ceremony or anything like that.
It's a special farm ceremony.
All right.
Involves manure and things,
I did that this weekend.
Cow bingo, cowpuck bingo.
All right, anything else on membership? So new business, farmer forum. So I was kind of thinking we might host this at Chris's house too, but if it's gonna be a park and rec thing, maybe we can explore some other options.
We could do that too, if Chris is open to that. I mean, either way, if we want to have a farmers forum, Chris, do you want to host a crowd?
I'd be happy to. I mean, I think an underrepresented area or underthought area is forestry, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I'd be happy to.
So do we want to do the farmers forum? How would that work if would it be, what's your vision for how it would work if we had, like, say?
Basically, my quick vision, without talking to anybody, just out of my head, is that we'd meet at the adventure park, talk about how the adventure park is actually a part of preserving the forest, and then go in and see what we've done in terms of forest management, and the thinking and the practices, as they're called in the bureaucracy, and basically do a walk in the forest.
Jennifer, what if we tacked the farmer forum onto that so Chris didn't have to do it twice and then just had all of the farmers stay at the end for a brief discussion?
So the agenda for the farmers forum would be, join us for a walk, to view what do you want to call your property, Chris?
I'll think about that.
Okay, so join us at the adventure park to
You can say the adventure park parking lot, so you're not like conflating it necessarily.
yeah. To look at forest practices, best management practices and forest stewardship or something like that. And then how would we incorporate the farmers into that after?
Well,
I think-
I think that's, to me, that's, to interrupt, I'm sorry, but that's kind of the point, is that a forest, or at least some sort of woodlot, is a part of many a typical farm. Again, the new guy on the block, the goat guy, he bought all forest land. I mean, there's basically no cleared land on that property excepting the water. So he's going to be doing a fair amount of forest management to start with anyway. And again, any farmer probably has a woodlot of some sort, which, if you want to make it sustainable, has to be managed in some thoughtful way. So I don't think it's a stretch at all to, call this farming practices. I mean, even as you know, Jennifer, that the whole idea of calling forestry agriculture is novel to some, but real.
Yeah, I
I have
was
a
gonna say the same thing, Chris. Oh, go ahead, Melissa.
So the farmers forum that we did last time, was that the guy that was the no-till guy? Was that the thing that I'm thinking of? Because in the last meeting, we talked about me talking to my neighbor who has the apiary and trying to do like a joint thing with the pollinator pathways people. And I did speak to my neighbor and he was really interested, so.
Yeah, so if that's the case, I don't mean to pull that away. I don't mean to pull the idea away from that at all. So, wherever people want to take it, that's fine.
I think we should do both, honestly.
I think Chris's place, I think it lends itself to being opened up to the general public. Like, we could publicize it for if you're a large landowner or just interested in learning how forests work. Join us meet at the adventure park and join us for a walk.
Yeah, maybe that could be co-sponsored or co-promoted by the Ag Committee and then the Farmer Forum.
Yeah.
Because the apiary conversation, and if we had it in Buchanan or something again, would be more conducive to having a conversation among the farmers. But I think both ideas, and they all go back to that education and educational outreach that we've been talking about getting the committee into.
Yeah.
My neighbor, it's Shook's Apiary. I never knew the name of it. I just knew that he had it. And he said that I don't know what the dates are that we were looking at all, or even if we had started to look at dates, but he said if it's April or later, he can bring his observation hive with him, which is like, I guess, like, it's like a working hive that he gauges like where the bees are at or whatever. And he can like show everybody everything that's going on in the hive. And like, I don't know exactly, but
Yeah, those have
kind of excited
typically have
about
like those typically have a glass side to them, and it's really cool.
yeah.
It's very, very cool. And if he wanted to leave, a hive somewhere, at near whatever, we could figure it out with the manager at the adventure park, I would be delighted to work that out too, if we want to combine them that way.
I think from what Melissa's saying, we'd have to go for April to get the hive there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he can do it anytime, but like he said, April or later is when the hive is then active again. Like they start to wake up, and that's when he can bring that and have that be part of it.
So if we did something that first week of April, would that be too late for some of the vegetable farmers to get? Are they crazed at that point, or? When's the best time of year?
There's always something, so I say we just plan it.
Well, didn't we do it kind of in the evening last time too? I mean, that's an option to not interfere with what they're doing during the day.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Do you want to try to do something for, like, say, a tentative date for Tuesday, April 5th? And then the venue, where do we think the venue? The Buchanan Center again, or is Town Hall too stuffy?
Melissa, do you have any thoughts on what might work for your neighbor? I mean, at least if it's.
I don't think it matters. I mean, he was kind of excited about the idea that we would link up with the pollinator group people too. So I don't know. I guess Terry was the one that was really connected with them. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it matters to him where it's at.
I think Buchanan, just because if he did want to bring the hive, at least, it's really close to the parking lot to get in that. I mean, I guess the town council's room isn't that bad either, but, yeah, the library's nice in that, and if we did have the pollinator stuff there as well, they've got that vegetable garden over by, I mean, maybe there's not plants in it, but there's right in April, but the vegetable garden over by the playscape and everything. And they had that whole bee display where all the bees were on the signs for a while. So it could, and Jennifer, do we know anybody with, Ginny Walton must be involved or somebody with pollinator pathway? Or, I mean,
So
Terry, I bet would help.
I would do is open it up to farmers and then have her like publicize it and see if maybe we could get a would we want another speaker? I mean, what's the agenda? What are we thinking for the agenda? It would be, Shucks Apiaries, presents on his farm, and then don't we want to hear from the farmers or?
Yeah, we need a kind of a Q&A. I mean, we could
Yeah,
give
he said that he's perfectly capable of just talking forever. Like every aspect of it. And I think he does not only does he run his own farm, but I think he does help people who are, learning to do it themselves and stuff too. I don't know if he officially has classes or anything like that, but I know for sure that he has helped out other people that I know. So I don't know exactly.
One thing I noticed when Brian spoke, the last time we did a farmer forum, the no-till farming, we did a quick update on the ag committee, but everyone was so interested in what Brian had to say. It was kind of like, okay, ag committee, finish up so that we can listen to Brian. So maybe what would be more effective is to send a one-page update on what the ag committee's been doing to the farmers with the invite, and ask them if they have things they want us to cover further at the meeting, or if they have specific questions or needs, we'd be happy to include those. Otherwise, we want to, I think, especially after all of this COVID, if we can have an in-person event, they'll be so happy to talk to each other and learn like they were from Brian, that it might be more effective to try and answer some of that ahead of time and focus on the high value part of the program. Not that what our committee does isn't high value, but we might be able to share that in a more informative way so that they can spend more time with the pollinator and apiary aspect of the program.
So
I want to agree with you, Stacy, to say, I don't think we have there's no shame in just concentrating on this. It's a really cool kind of thing. It would be interesting if we had, who knew what, some other focus, but this is a great one and it's fascinating. Bees are amazing. So
My husband actually wants to go to it so that he can listen to it. He wants to know about it.
Well, there you go. John Q. Public.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So that we need someone to kind of do an update on what the ag committee has been doing. Can I get a volunteer for someone to write up a little one pager? And then I can work on getting an invite, and then maybe you can, Melissa, can you connect me with Mr. Shooks?
Yep. Yeah, I can, I'll send you I don't have an email for him, but I do have his contact on Facebook, and then I also have his phone number, so.
Okay, so I'll coordinate the venue. I'm thinking Tuesday, April 5th at 7 p.m. Does that make sense?
And you're thinking Buchanan?
Yeah. Is that good?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. I think he's some sort of, I don't know if he's an electrician or something like that. So he definitely has like a day job. So it would have to obviously be after that. But I think 7 p.m. would probably be okay. But we can ask him.
Okay, well, that will be the tentative date. And once you give me his information, I'll coordinate that with him. But that's
Okay.
what we'll say. But 7 o'clock, people think is a good time for folks, right?
Yeah, that seemed to work well last time. So
All right, and then someone needs to write a one-pager about what we've been doing or what you've been doing.
I nominate Stacy.
I I have our display that I have done for, that we used for Celebrate Mansfield, the Celebrate it's about the Agriculture Committee, and so I'll bring that.
Or maybe that's fine and that's enough.
Yeah, and weren't we printing some updated brochures so we could hand them out that night too? We had that, and then, we could ask Taste of Mansfield if they've got anything that they want to share that night, or if they want to send somebody to table or send some brochures or something. Yeah, I think focusing on the high value part for the farmers. We are a smaller farm community here, and maybe we can get, I can't think of his name, but Golden Goats and Robert Cardinal to attend as well, and expand the community and have some people there for pollinators too.
All right,
And yeah, I'll work on a one-pager, Jennifer. And,
thank you.
I wouldn't be surprised too, and it would be worthwhile to try to make note of it at the high school and at the middle school, because bees are just a fascinating topic anyway, science wise, and that could draw some additional people.
yeah, we could definitely open it up to others as well. The more the merrier, especially if we move the farmer forum to more. And the other thing that we've done in the past, and we might want to do before we get to April 5th, and we can split it up at the next meeting, but calling all of our farmers. So after the invite, we could take the list of farms in the town, and we've just split it up, and everyone takes 4 or 5 names or however many are on the list, and call them and remind them, hey, we've got this event coming up. We sent you a one-pager on what we've been doing. Is there anything else you need from the committee? We're looking for a couple members if we're still looking for alternates at that point. Share that information and see, having those one-on-one conversations can sometimes A, get them to attend, and B, bring up other issues that they want us to work on too.
And he was also just pissed off that Rachel was asking.
All right, that sounds good.
All right,
She did such.
ag lease reports. Jennifer, you want to walk us through these?
Okay, so for the new, for Gloria and Joe, I think they're the only two that maybe have not looked at these before, but the town has actually 9. Did I pull that up or did someone else?
I think you did.
Oh, well, there you go. The town has 9 properties that we lease to local farmers. One of them, whoops. Sorry. One of them is Brian Kilbania leases, and he has not done anything with it, with his field really ever. So he did not, he's been ill and he has not submitted a report.
Jennifer, where is that one?
We did not get one yet.
No, where is that property?
Oh, I'm sorry. That is on Coventry Road, just west of his property that he owns.
Okay, I know exactly where you mean now. Yep, thanks.
Yep. So anyways, I hope you all had a chance to look at these. This is just sort of every year they report on what they have done with the property and what they are planning to do. So we have the Baxter Field, which is leased by Charlie Delgowski. And he is just basically, he's mowing it. He's not collecting hay, and he's kind of maintaining it and trying to just diversify it. the grasses. Bone Mill, Crane Hill, and Eagleville are all leased to Mountain Dairy, and they are growing corn at all three of those fields. So then we've got. I'm sorry.
Can we just go back for a second
Yeah.
to the Charlie property?
Yes.
Charlie Gagowski, where, yeah, that he is just cutting it, but I mean, I would love to see something more happening there, but in truth, he is maintaining it kind of in the aesthetic, the agricultural aesthetic that is kind of desired, frankly, by, I'd like to think, I can imagine, was desired by the town council or whoever approved of its purchase. That's what they wanted it to remain open. They wanted it to remain a field, and that's what Charlie's doing. So to that extent, even if it's not at its frankly highest and best use in terms of agriculture, it's definitely in its in a highest and best use in terms of original desire. Does that sound right to you, Jennifer?
Yeah, I mean, I think what he originally, he had grown pumpkins, he'd done some vegetables
Right.
there, and now I think he's do pasture and flowers for bees, and he's thinking about growing nut trees and elderberries, and but he'll let us know. So right now, I mean, he's putting a little lime on it, and that's basically it.
Okay,
So
sorry
whoever
for that
does
interruption.
take over that field will, I think it's in really good shape. I think he's done a good job stewarding it. So I think that is a good thing. So from a staff perspective, I work with these farmers. I've put all of these reports together. This is something I can either go through them all individually. You can take a minute and look at them, and we can discuss them at your next meeting. Or you can just sort of, I'm not sure how you think would be best to go through these. Did anyone see any concerns in any of the lease reports? Or would you like me to go through them one by one, or?
If I could say, I think it'd be great if you went through and just noted highlights, just like you started to do before I interrupted you. That was helpful, and I think, really your expertise and experience on this is going to outweigh our exposure to any of them.
Okay, so let's see. The next one is Bone Mill Field. This is a very small field. It's like 2.89 acres. It's on the corner of 44 and Bone Mill Road, right across from Tri-County Nursery. This field was part of this 6-lot subdivision, and it was prime agricultural field. So the Mountain Dairy plants corn there. We require all of our farmers to get soil tests, and they have to submit MSDSs for if they're applying any pesticides. They follow a conservation plan. So that's Bone Mill, again, in corn. I'm just going to go through all of the Stearns, the fields that they lease, because they're all in corn. Crane Hill Field is, it's basically at the corner right near where Crane Hill comes into Mansfield City Road. That's a 12-acre field that has been in agriculture for many, many years. Again, leased by Mountain Dairy, and they grow corn there. They are let's see, required to put a cover crop.
And do you track that they're doing it? So they're doing the cover crop?
Yeah, well, yes, I do. And they have to explain that they did do that. So and, you know, they have to certify that they are leasing this, they have to certify that this information is correct. So, Eagleville, that is also leased by the Stearns family or Mountain Dairy, and also they are growing corn. It's the same situation there. So, let's see here. Then we've got Common Fields, which is 195 Cemetery Road and Bassett's Bridge. That is leased by Tom Wells, and right now that is in Hay. Southworth Preserve is actually on off of Dodd Road. It's a small field, and it is adjacent to Army Corps property, and that is a hayfield. And then Tom also leases Torrey Preserve, which is if you hike the Nipmuc Trail and you enter off of Gurleyville Road, to the north is that Pump House Road. That's Yukon property, and the southerly portion is town property, and there's a little field in there that you access from the white house that is Foxfire Farms, and that also is a hayfield. And then the last property that we have reports on is Mount Hope Park, which is off of 89. And that is leased by Bill Varga, and that is a hayfield. So these reports, I just present them to you. You guys are working in agriculture. If you have any issues, any concerns, any advice to give to me, I would appreciate it. Otherwise, it's just sort of a, I can write something in the minutes that you reviewed them and had concerns or no concerns or whatever.
Not necessarily a concern, just a question. I did sit in for this discussion last year, but I wasn't officially part of the committee. So as a committee, what is the role in terms of determining agricultural use or determining higher and best use? And do these leases have a specific term? How often are they up for renewal? And what's the process of competition at that time?
Sure. So the leases are 5-year leases with the option to renew once if there are no issues. So right now we are at the on the second portion of that 5-year. We're on the second 5-year portion. So these leases expire in 2024, with the exception of Baxter. Charlie Gilgowski, I think he negotiated a 10-year with a 10-year renewal. So, but the other fields we will do an RFP in 2024, at which time we'll publicize it. We'll let any farmer who wants to put in a proposal, and the committee will decide who. We develop criteria. We interview the farmers, and then you decide, or you provide advice to staff as to who you think should lease the fields. We really don't have a lot of competition for these fields. There's not a lot of infrastructure. They do not compensate the town in any way. Their responsibility is just to maintain these fields. So in all cases, actually, the same farmers have been working this land for years and years and years. So we did open it up back in, I guess, 2014. We got very few responses, and so we just awarded it to the same farmers. So, I mean, we would love to kind of spread the wealth, but in actuality, I think, I'm not sure, who knows what's going to happen in 2024. Maybe I have had some interest from some, for some of the other fields, but, and I've let them know that, you know, they'll be well aware of when we send the request for proposals out. So in
Great, thank
terms
you.
of deciding what we want this, you know, how we want these fields used, I think we really let that be up to the farmers. So in the cases of, you know, these farms, we kind of know that Mountain Dairy and Tom Wells, they do dairy. I think Bill Varga also does. He has cows as well, a few cows. So they're dairy farmers. They're doing it to support their dairy operation. So, but if someone wanted to grow vegetables or something like that, then certainly they could put, that's where the lease reporting forms kind of go in or come into play.
Right, but ultimately that's a 2024 discussion for the
Right.
committee.
Let's say Charlie Gagowski could come and say, I want to do a horse farm, or I want to do, or something, I don't know, that he want some creative thing. And we could say, sure. But there's nothing really new and novel happening right now in terms of the proposals.
It seems to me that we kind of set these up so they all came due at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Having now done that, do you anticipate that's the better way to do it?
Yes, I have
Okay,
enough.
great.
It's you know, it's enough administration. It's good just to get it all done at once.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is this more efficient and you know, less burdensome for you
Yes.
done this way? You're finding
Yes.
that's the case. Okay, great.
So if there are no concerns or other questions, I can just put something in the minutes stating that the committee, you know, reviewed these and had no concerns, or let me know.
Do you want a motion? I mean, is that the sort of thing?
Yeah.
You know, Stacy, help out.
You can make a motion. I don't comment on these, so somebody
Oh,
else.
okay. I mean, what sort of a thing would be the right way to go? I mean, I would
You
like
need
to move that we
approve
renew these
the-
leases as in their current form. No?
No, just approve the reports as submitted by the farmer.
Okay. Or often the thing is accept the reports.
That's fine.
Okay, so I move we accept the reports as received.
Second,
Great, we have a motion and a second to accept the reports as received. Is there further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I,
Any opposed, nay? All right, motion passes.
Melissa, you were the one who seconded, right?
That was Joe.
Oh, Joe. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. And certainly when we get closer to 2024, if we want to get creative, and I mean, who knows what 2024 is going to bring? Maybe we'll have some whole new ways of communicating with people, but reaching out to people that, you know, non-traditional leases, we do want to promote these as best we can to all sorts of different people that might be interested. And given that we have new farmers moving in, you know, young farmers too, which is a very promising sign. Maybe we will have some more interest in them. But yeah, keep thinking about that and talking, you know, when you talk to different people in town, let them know that the resource is available, and 2024 is the next year the RFP comes out.
You know, Stacy, you're making me think that this is exactly the kind of thing that should be mentioned at the, you know, if we do the forestry thing at my, you know, on my property, and if we do the apiary thing, both places would be opportunities to make notice of it. You know,
Yeah,
for
in
you
that
to speak
letter,
up.
the letter, you know, our one pager on what the committee, because it is a comment, feedback, criticism, whatever you want to call it, that we've gotten in the past, is that we didn't communicate well enough about these fields. you know, and yes, it was one person, but I think any way we can keep letting people know that there are 9 properties. This is the process. And then because we are getting closer to that RFP deadline, it'll matter more now than it has in the past. Because it is something that they can have on their radar screens.
And Jennifer, do you get many requests outside of the, I mean, do you get calls to your office saying, oh, I hear you have this. You did say earlier you don't get a lot of
I
interest.
have people are interested. They're like, oh, you lease land to farmers for no cost, and then they find out what the land is, and they're like, oh, okay. But I think that, you know, recently I did receive a call from someone who was interested and knew the property, one specific property. So yeah.
Mhm.
The other one, the Coventry Road property, Jennifer, is there anything, I mean, you said Brian's been sick. Is there anything we need to do with all of that?
No, because there's been nothing done on that field, and that field is a really difficult field, and we weren't leasing it until Brian asked us if we would lease it, and then nothing was ever done with it. He was going to apply for a farmland restoration grant, and he never was able to get one, and it's very wet. So I don't really, you know, think there's not much going on there. So
Okay. Taste of Mansfield.
I just wanted to kind of update you all on some things. We are having a partner event, and Stacy as the chair. Did you get an email about this?
I did, and I put it on my calendar. I'm on the search committee for our associate dean position we have open, and I believe we are also meeting for part of that. So I think I might only be at this for part, but it sounds like it might be Zoom now anyway, so I'll be fine.
Oh, the dean search is Zoom?
Yeah, but I was wondering, is the Taste of Mansfield one going to be Zoom too?
That's a good, you know, we've sort of been in denial about this, but I probably should check in with Taste of Mansfield folks to see if we should either, I'd hate to have this on Zoom. See if we can either postpone it or if we need to do it on Zoom. So anyways, that it is going to happen. It's right now, it's scheduled for Wednesday, January 26th. What we're going to try to do is just kind of brainstorm ways that we can discuss our partners, of which one of them is the Agriculture Committee, can do events that are connecting the community around local food. And I am almost thinking that this, while we're having the Shooks Apiary be the Farmers Forum, it seems like that would be a really great way that could be a Taste of Mansfield event. I mean, pollinators are what makes our food grow. So maybe that's one of the things that we could co-promote. But that's the partners meeting. We are requesting $5,000 again to sustain the program, and the funding covers. We have a Yukon intern, and we use a communication coordinator over at Yukon. We've done photography last year. You remember we did the videos of all the CSAs, videography, and then this $5,000 will also cover the Taste of Mansfield Hero campaign, which I wanted to just review with you. This is a new initiative that the Economic Development Commission is wanting to do, and they want to recognize a producer, seller, and communicator, educator that kind of are forwarding the Taste of Mansfield mission. So it's just really an award to kind of celebrate someone or a business or a producer that is connecting the community to local food. I did think it would be appropriate to have the Agriculture Committee meet with the Economic Development Commission to kind of review the application. So that's sort of what I wanted to review with you. So we could, when this award gets underway, we'll look for a volunteer to meet with, or maybe we'd have a joint committee meeting just to review the applications. So, and the idea is just to kind of, they'll get a certificate that they can hang in their business. We'll promote it, and it will just kind of raise awareness and celebrate good work of people. So, any questions about what's happening with Taste of Mansfield? Oh, and one other thing, I don't know if I told you at the last meeting or if I even knew, but the Farms to Families program was funded again through the Austin Foundation. So they just got an additional $25,000. And Diane Dorfer, in her email to Stacy and me, stating that she was not able to attend, just talked about how much she values this Farms to Families program, because it's been a way for her to diversify her CSA membership, and also to use the produce, to have a purchaser of her produce for when they're doing the farm boxes. So that was a really good testimonial, and I think it's been a great program. I just learned that on the federal level that they were sort of doing one of these farm box programs on the federal level, and they've discontinued it because it was mainly going to large producers, and the quality of the produce wasn't as good as they wanted it to be. But I mean, this program has been an amazing success, and just sort of the connections, the people are so appreciative, the diversity of food they're getting. So it's been a really good program. So I'm glad that it's been funded again. So yeah. Any questions or comments on Taste of Mansfield?
My only question is on this Taste of Mansfield Hero. Hopefully she doesn't watch the recording, but can somebody like Stephanie Richard get nominated for that? Or
So
because
yeah,
she's part of the committee, is that, or the planning steering committee, whatever, is that a no?
No, I think we've talked, like, that's to be determined, because we thought about like, who is going to get one of these awards. And certainly Stephanie has done some amazing work, as has the Human Services Department at Mansfield through this Farms to Families program, because that's not a Taste of Mansfield program. That's a human services program that Taste of Mansfield has kind of promoted, tried to publicize, basically. So I think it's to be determined, but it seems like that would be, they should get recognized as sort of maybe an educator or communicator type thing, because that's going to be determined by the committee, the commission, the Economic Development Commission, and the Agriculture Committee, I think, when you guys look at the applications. But that, she would have my vote.
Yeah, well, and
They would both would.
something,
There's just a lot of good work that we want to talk about in town.
something for this committee to consider is who we would nominate too, because I think we all move in different circles and know different people that have been really impactful with this throughout. So yeah, I'd love to see Diane get one too. Hopefully she doesn't watch the recording either, but
No, she would. Yeah, she would be great. There's just a lot of really good people.
All right. Anything else on Taste of Mansfield from anyone? Do we have any reports from members? Okay, communications. We have Julia's honor thesis, which Jennifer attached in the packet too. Jennifer, you worked with her a little bit on this?
I did a little bit, and it was a while ago. And when I got her thesis, I was like, "Oh yeah,
I remember you."
I So she sent it to me, and I believe she worked with you too, Stacy, right?
Yeah, actually, I think she was in my office one day.
Yeah. So, it's just this, I thought is sort of good for our library, the Agriculture Committee Library. It talks just about, talks about, agriculture in Mansfield and sort of, so it's just a lot of good information. I think it's well done. And so I wanted to share it, with you all. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Do we have anything for future meetings? I mean, we have lots for future meetings, but is there anything in particular you would all like for on the agendas? So we are meeting every other month, so our next meeting is in March, and we will obviously be finalizing plans for the forest event and the I should say them in the opposite order, because the Farmer Forum apiary pollinator event will be April 5th, and then the forestry event on April 23rd. Does anyone have other items they want on the agendas? We'll keep our standing communication initiatives and some of those other planning and zoning. Do we know when that's gonna come back up and hit our agenda, Jennifer?
Oh, the zoning. I wish I knew that
Okay.
they're not, eventually we'll be doing, full rewrite of all of our zoning regulations, and we'll be looking at the agriculture section. But that has not come up. We've picked away at some of the multifamily regulations, affordable housing, things like that. But when it does, it will definitely be on your agenda.
Okay. Anything else anyone else wants to talk about?
Can we do just a quick list of the upcoming meetings? I'll make sure I have them written down.
Yes.
Yeah. So March 8th, and then May 10th, July 12th, September 13th, November 8th. And there, I think in the last packet, there was a list that you approved, but I'll go ahead and send that out, the approved list of meetings.
I'm sure
That'd
I
be
have
really
them
helpful,
written down
thanks.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Thank you.
somewhere.
No, I noticed the same thing. I got the 2022 calendar out and I'm like, I don't know when any of my committees are meeting, so we're all in that same situation. Anything else anyone wants to discuss? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
All right, well, Joe said it before Chris could unmute, so we'll take Joe as the motion and Chris is the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, no one is opposed because I just saw or heard you all vote. So meeting adjourned at 8:14 p.m. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye,
good night.
Have a good night.
Thanks
Thank
very
you,
much.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Stay warm.